definitely a shooter.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. Alright guys, so we are out checking cameras, doing a little bit of scouting in the muggiest and hottest day of the year. It's August 2nd. We've had these cameras out since April 4th, so it's been a while. Josh just came in and checked a couple of them before this, but there's a couple that we haven't checked since then. The camera that we're currently checking right now was... Actually, we had to replace it because someone stole it out of here. But it's going to be a long day. Checking all these, are just going to make a big circle around and check them all. Anything on there?
Nothing real good. Nothing exciting.
We already checked one camera. It was still pretty dark to film. But we had one little buck on there, but that was about it. You checked that one before, haven't you?
Yeah.
And was there anything on it before?
One right after turkey season. That was it. Nothing. He hadn't really grown much yet.
Nothing crazy. I have two cameras that I might stick out. I might stick out at least one. Do you have any with you?
I have one.
You have one. Are you putting it out?
Yeah.
Oh, by the pond? Or are you going to move that?
I'm going to move the pond. Just move it over. Okay. But the one I'm going to put out, I'll put behind the field.
Okay. We got two at this spot here. There's one here, and then where's the other one at?
Across the creek.
Right across the creek, right
yards.
in behind us here. And they come, some of them come down right here. I don't know if you can see the path. But that's a pretty good path, so we stuck one on here, and then Josh has had a tree stand in here and had a bunch of deer on the other side too.
Nothing really on it.
Is this where you saw is this where that big buck was?
This is where I seen the big one the week before I killed him.
Yeah. He was in here last year, and the buck you see on, it's going to probably be at the end of this video. But you'll see it. He shot it in bow season. What was it, the week before or the day before?
I seen it the week before in here.
The week before in here. Couldn't get a shot at it. It was like 50 yards. And then he went up and sat in my tree stand where I killed the nice buck 2 years ago. And he sat in there, and the same buck came and walked out. How far do you think that is from here?
It's like 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah. So he apparently was running out the side and then coming down this way. So, but yeah, I mean, it's really far. And he was running that, and it's crazy how far that they travel. And that was in the rut, wasn't it?
Yeah. I had him the night before I killed him down here.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was the whole way down in here the night before, and he traveled the whole way up in there the next day. And Josh shot him at like 10:30 in the morning, came walking right out to him. So, but we're going to keep checking trail cameras. Nothing impressive on that one.
No. Bears.
Some bears. There's a pile of bears up here. But we're going to keep checking them, and then we'll get back with you if we get something good on camera. Alright guys, so we checked those three down by the creek at Josh's stands. Popped up on top of the hill, and this is camera number 4. Yeah, camera number 4 that we checked. Haven't had anything really crazy. He's checking it. Josh is checking it right now, flipping through some of them. We have a small buck on camera, but nothing really crazy right now.
There's a real good one. Big buck. It's kind of hard to see. I mean, you can barely see him. You can just see the outline of his horns while he's walking.
Oh wow.
See, he's real high.
Let me get
Got
behind you.
real long points. I'll restart it. Zoom way in here. Definitely a shooter.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a good one.
Be nice we get some other pictures of him
Huh.
in here. That's the first one we've had with him.
Now this is a spot that we've never hunted. It's in between, like where we hunt. Like, you know, I usually hunt up top. Josh usually hunts down below. And it's just in the spot. Oh, there goes a deer right there.
Oh,
Right there. It's a doe.
small one.
Yeah. There goes another one. That's a buck.
Something must have spooked him.
Must have.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a spot that we never really hunted before, and it's like a pinch point. I don't know if you can see here, but there's a little hole that kind of comes up there. There's a hole that comes out here, and they come together right here. And it's like a little pinch point. It's super easy for the deer to pop in and out of here.
Lots of scrapes in here.
Lots of scrapes. And it looks like it'd be good, so we just kind of stuck a camera up here in April. And because we said about it would be a decent spot. So we've got our first big buck on camera.
Branches are still alive.
Really?
Knock them off. This one's dead. This piece here is still alive. So it was busted off not too long ago. Pretty fresh.
I'd say.
He has this whole tree mark on the side. You can see where his claws.
That's pretty wild. Can't say I've ever seen one straight across like that.
Usually they're straight down.
Decided to put a camera up over this big scrape. Got one that has 2 beams starting out of its head. When was this?
That was a while back. That was early. June 9th.
That's pretty neat.
Don't have him again.
No. So we don't have any nice bucks on this camera, which is surprising.
We have a decent 8.
Yeah, we have a decent 8-point. But like I said, we never get a lot of buck pictures for some reason. And
same one right here.
yeah, come deer season they'll walk the same paths we had our camera on. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more?
Yeah.
5 more to check, so. And it's all out along this edge now. So like where we were before was down by the creek. And we just popped up, and it's literally we try to keep our cameras and make a big circle. So I mean, our thinking is, you know, if something's within that circle, we're gonna get it. Now the circle is huge.
Couple miles.
Yeah, a couple mile circle, but you know.
In a month's time, hopefully deer walk.
Right. Yeah, don't be afraid to bounce your camera around. You know, you'll find
small area.
Yeah, in a small area. Yeah, within like, you know, obviously you're going to pick a spot that has, you know, decent food, water, whatever, you know, a decent food source or a reason for them to be in the general area. It's the whole reason you're putting the camera up in the first place. You know, and then you could start narrowing it down. You know, if you sat in a spot and you saw deer or, you know, saw some bucks or whatever, and you're putting a trail camera in there for the next year, bounce it around a little bit, see where they're coming. And just because last year, you know, every buck I saw came one way, doesn't mean this year they're going to come from that way. I might never see a buck come from that way again. Doubt it, but you know, it happens.
Discouraged because you don't get them on camera in the summer.
Yeah. I mean, they change their patterns constantly. You know, for whatever reason. You know, 200 yards to the left of you, you know, they might get a lot of acorns or something on the oak trees and stuff, and over here might not have as many. Well, why are they going to be here whenever the food's over there? You know, so and it's a good idea too. What I see a lot of people doing is they'll come into a spot, put up a tree stand, and that's the only place that they come to and from. No, if you're looking to put a tree stand, walk around like at least 150 yards in all directions. Just walk a big circle around it, kind of see your surroundings a little bit. There's so many times, that's how a lot of times in public land hunting, you'll set up a tree stand and then some guy will just come in and put up his tree stand right beside it because he didn't, he just found a spot and just stuck up a tree stand. He didn't care to walk around and see if there was any tree stands around. And we try to do that because, one, on public land you're always going to have the problem with people stealing your stuff. So we try to pick the most remote places on public land where no one will get to. So our chances of having someone put a tree stand here is very unlikely. So that's kind of a little tip, to kind of go by. And like I said with the trail cameras, do not be afraid to bounce around in your general area. I'm not talking move it 200 yards. I'm talking move it 20, 30 yards. Just bounce it around. Even if you have it set up on a path and you don't have a lot of deer on it, well, just move it somewhere else. Just because there's a path here doesn't mean
that's where the deer walk.
Yeah, that's where the deer walk every single day. I've seen, what would we set that one up on? Last year we set up a trail camera on a really good path. It was over here by my wife's tree stand.
We got a porcupine.
And we got a porcupine. It was literally a porcupine path. Every single day, twice a day, the porcupine would come back and go away. Every single day. And it sure did look like a deer path. It looked like a deer path.
I know it was.
Yeah. Because we've seen deer run that same general direction. But we stuck it up and had nothing but 1,000 pictures of the porcupine's daily functions. But yeah, just don't be afraid to, move your trail camera around and bounce around, and don't get discouraged when you come in here like us. A lot of people don't have 17 cameras to put out. They literally have 2. And that's why I said you got to utilize the equipment that you have and you can afford. Bounce them around and try to cover as much ground as you possibly can. And a lot of times people will, if they don't have any pictures, we've had these out since April, and now a deer will change their pattern, based on the food. So we might have all these pictures. There might be a buck coming down here every single day. Well, if the food's gone and the food changes, that's why we run them constantly. Obviously in March and stuff like that, the deer aren't going to have their horns, but we want to know, are the deer in here? If there's a lot of does, and stuff that's a good thing. Yeah. If you have a lot of does on camera and not a lot of bucks, that's still okay, because where the does are at, come right, the bucks are going to be here. There's so many times where we sit in a spot, especially early season, might never see a buck, but see a lot of does. Well, come right, no one else sees any bucks at their tree stands, and you might see all of them. That's just how it works.
About food come November.
Right, yeah. Come November and stuff, when the rut hits, they starve to death because they don't really care. Alright, so we're up here above my stand at this spot. Josh hung a stand up here. Pretty big scrape. Josh has a stand, or his camera over there, if you can see him sitting over there, checking the camera. But doesn't have many on camera there. He has a buck back in May that was already had some pretty decent horns, so it's probably going to be a nice buck, more than likely, if he's growing that fast the whole way in May. But we didn't have any pictures of him, earlier. But Nice scrape. I don't think it's been opened up. Maybe, no, definitely not recently. I don't know, maybe here a little bit. Oh, I didn't even see that camera. I forgot you had one right there.
Get this out of here.
And he has camera right here, overlooking the scrape that I didn't see.
So that buck.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if that's the same one or not. I think that's a different buck. I'm not sure.
And when was this?
No, it's the same buck.
Last month?
Yeah.
It says 7. Yeah.
7/19, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so he's probably not gonna, that's probably about what he's gonna look like.
And then here was another buck. Maybe the same one.
It could be.
Just grew a little wee bit.
Could be. It looks like maybe his points got a little more defined.
Yeah.
But the only camera so far that we've had a nice buck on is just that one down by.
We decided
Yeah.
it was gonna be.
We don't even have a stand there, and we've never hunted it down in there. And that's where we have a buck. But we have cameras all around it. Like I said, you know, if we wouldn't have stuck that camera there, more than likely, I would say we do not have that buck on any of these cameras. We might, but I doubt it. Because these are really far. But I mean, we very easily could. You know, he could just be cruising around and wind up on one. But it just goes to show you, you know, of all these cameras out, and so far we've only had one picture of that buck, or one video of that buck. So put them in spots that, I mean, if you have as many as we do, put them in spots where, you know, you wouldn't normally think that a deer would go through, or like a spot that you're like, you know, that's kind of a good spot, but I probably wouldn't hunt it. Throw a camera up, just to check.
You think you may want to look at, just check it out.
Yeah.
Can't hurt anything to know
No.
that there is no deer there.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely not hurting you at all. You know, there's been a lot of times where we have set trail cameras up in places that, you know, might be all rocks, like down in there by the creek. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, you gotta stay away from rocks and stuff like that.
Deer go around them.
Deer go around the rocks, or they'll walk right through them. It is true. We've seen it several times. They don't care. This is their home. They'll walk through anything. You know, to get to somewhere. They're not gonna not be in there. If there is acorns in them rocks, they will be in those rocks. If there's acorns falling and stuff, they will be in those rocks. And I'm not talking I'm talking big rocks. But yeah, you never know. That's why, like, public land, you know, there's so much ground, it's really hard to learn the ground. And that's one reason why trail cameras come in handy, because trying to scout this is extremely difficult, especially when there's only really 3 of us that hunt this all the time. So, like I was saying earlier, you know, about bumping around and moving your cameras and stuff, what we're doing right now, if this would focus on my face, is the one camera over the scrape, we're going to leave it right back there. The other one that didn't have hardly anything on camera, we're going to get it, and there's a little water hole over here. It's what we call it, just like the pond. It's just a little pond over here, and we're going to try something and put this trail camera over top this pond and see if they use it. It's right above my stand, and to the left of Josh, where we just came from. So kind of a new thing. We never really put cameras over bodies of water like this in the middle of the woods. Well, I guess we did there behind that field that time. Put it behind that little pond. But we're going to see if this pans out and see if we can find it. Find it? Oh, there it is. I'll kind of show you here what it looks like. See if there's any deer tracks or anything in it. I mean, you would think they would be using it.
Some over there, but
yeah.
not.
Here's the pond. And it's just kind of in the middle of this, all these ferns. And then you have the pond. Well, we are at trail camera number what? 7?
No clue.
7,
8, 9,
8,
something.
I don't know. We have another decent buck. He's not huge, but he's decent buck.
That's it.
Yeah.
That one's pretty big.
Yeah.
That could be the one that was the first one to walk through the other day. Because
Is that?
there's another buck right here too.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought.
Well, there's another one back here. He's probably the one that's in the background of that first picture.
Yeah. So he's not too bad.
He's a shooter.
Yeah, he's a shooter.
616, so that was a good while ago.
Oh wow, that's neat.
That's it.
Yep, it's focusing. Oh yeah. That's a nice one.
You see it?
Yeah, you can see a little bit, not real good. Alright, so we are at the last camera to check today. Nothing real crazy on that one. It was been dead for like, it's been full for like a month. Do you want new batteries in it, or is it fine?
70.
Oh yeah, it wasn't even at 100 whenever I checked it out before. We have that real wide buck on here, just one time running past. So this is called the pin oak scrapes. Due to there's so many scrapes up on this little flat, they're everywhere. I'm actually sitting in one right now. There's some over there, some over there. So that's probably gonna be it for today. What happened? Is that busted?
Bear bit it.
Yes, it did. Wonder if that is the reason it's setting it off. But yeah, it looks like something
It shouldn't be.
chewed it apart.
It could be.
Let me get that on. Oh, look at it. Yeah, bear ate. Decided to bite it.
Walk out there. See if it takes a picture.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah, I might want to scooch it. Scooch it this way a little bit. That's good. Yeah, so this is our last one, and we're heading back to the car now. As soon as we're done checking this one, so that'll be it for this video. Next time we come out, which will probably be in about a month or so, we're gonna come out and probably check a few of them. Might not check all of them, but we'll come out in about a month and check them again, and then find some trees we can put some mobile stands, mobile setups and stuff in. Stuff we're working on right now is a super light mobile setup. Got the steps and stuff for it, and I'm in the process of getting the stands now for a mobile setup. So I'm gonna try to keep it under 20 pounds. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, so it's gonna be it for today. We'll see you next time.